Dun 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 dun. Hello and welcome to the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions, and right now I have cameras on our table at Tequila's as well as my friend Sid. There's Sid. Say hi, Sid.
Hello.
We're live, baby.
Yeah.
We're live. Emily's hiding in the shadows next to me. Jim's here. And we've got Fred online. There's Emily. Welcome, everybody joining us. So, as we typically do with our computer club meetings, I create a document of topics, and I refreshed our document. I pulled out all the stale topics and put in some new ones for today. Well, there might be at least one old stale topic. And I did leave some of the themes that we like to continue to talk about, and some of the things we want to continue to promote as things we recommend, like TJ's books and Mark Mulligan's website for music, apps that we continue to use and enjoy, as well as services like breakfast and lunch at Tequila's. So those things have been left in this document. As well, the document starts out at the beginning with some very specific things like when we meet. It's every Tuesday at 10 here in Tequila's if it's going to be in person or online in our meet. And that code is in this document right at the top. We like to talk about the Bill of Digital Rights because we are strong supporters of the right to repair. And this is a document I put together last year that basically is the ethos of this kind of thinking. I think of it as a Bill of Rights, just like what the United States was founded on. This is a Bill of Rights that digital personas' existence is founded on. And so we are constantly promoting that idea, and I invite anybody that has questions or interests to write me and challenge my thoughts on it and help us develop this into a better document that we can tell our representatives to support as we go forward into the future with technological development. I think the Bill of Digital Rights would butt up heads against the AI development that's going on, and quite possibly we would have memory that didn't cost astronomical amounts.
Save us.
Save us from the high price of memories. Well, I have, like I said, brought my own topics, but as usual, I'm more interested in topics you guys might have brought. So this is the moment to shout out anything you're interested in. I know Jim wants to talk about his new computer.
Not really.
Take it away, Jim.
Point the camera at him. Point the camera at him.
I haven't
Dun,
even
dun,
seen
dun.
it. Haven't even seen it yet. So
Haven't
I did
seen
buy
it yet.
yeah, it's in Tucson. What is it? It's a Rayon 7 6850U.
Woohoo!
Yeah, 32 gigs of RAM and 2.1 HDMI output.
You're excited because it would support 8K if somebody else did.
Oh, it supports 8K on 4 ports at the same time at 60 megahertz refresh.
and
And
then-
on 4K, you're at 120 or 144.
This is one of those mini computers.
Yes.
Yeah, and it comes with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you said half a terabyte of storage. And I looked at the price; it was just under $500, right?
489, and
$489.
I got it 1 day coupon on it that dropped it down to 460 delivered with tax. So
Hell yeah, brother.
That's an awesome price in the United States.
Yeah.
And if you're paying any attention to the memory crisis we're in the middle of, that price won't be around for much longer. So if you're looking for stuff, this is the time to do it.
Because it's only gonna get worse.
It's only going to get more expensive.
I'll bring it down and show you guys in 2 weeks.
All right. Dun, dun, this is Candy Camera. Dun, dun. Yeah.
Now I'm all crooked.
Yeah, I know you look sloppy. You always look crooked, but you're sloppy.
You accusing me of something?
Not at all. It's your guilt. It's written all over your face. You're making it obvious. Okay.
Let's start with who forgot the microphones this morning.
That's a very good point. If we sound a bit muffled this morning, it's because we've gone back to the old microphones. I think I just heard somebody join us.
Hello? Hello, who is...
Fred and Chester is now with us. Morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Thanks for getting back to me on that work the other day. If you need more help, just let me know.
I may, but I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, we were just getting started, and I was asking people for topics. We were talking about Jim's new mini computer, which he hasn't even gotten to touch yet. He's drooling over an Amazon order that's just been delivered. It's in Tucson.
Yeah, I don't get it till the 18th.
Is that one of the many desktops?
Yeah, I was just trying to bring up the link, but I'm realizing I'm not in a position to easily do it. What was the model number of that again? I'll try and Google it.
Rayon 7 650U.
Wait, yeah, but yours is a GMK, is that right? GMK.
So
Tech.
I'll send it to you in Messenger.
I know, I'm not in a position to pull it out of Messenger right now.
All right.
GMK Tech.
GMK Tech.
650U. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, Chester, but this is the kind of thing this isn't the exact one, but this is the kind of device he's looking for, or he's gotten himself into. And it came with 32 gigabytes of RAM and half a terabyte of disk space. Supports up to 4 monitors. I know how to say that word. And he got it for just under $500.
No, a lot less. 460.
So $40 shy of $500.
Yeah, that's tax too, though. That's good.
That's with Arizona tax. So I see it here from the GMK Tech store for $530 if you buy it with a terabyte of space. Which we were commenting that these are great prices given the memory crunch that we're in right now, affecting all the prices of tech to go up. That's a pretty decent deal. If you're looking for a mini computer, it'd be a good way to go. These mini computers work great for an upgrade if you've already gotten yourself into a monitor, keyboard, and mouse, and you just need to upgrade whatever's driving those. You can just drop this in its place.
65-inch TV.
Or your 65-inch TV, that's right. You've got a TV set sitting there, you can do that.
And they stream really well.
They make good streaming boxes. Yes. Here comes Jonathan just in time with more coffee. So Chester, have you brought any topics for us today? If not, I am going to go on to one of the news articles I brought. Oh, hey, Jonathan, can you bring us some more cream, please? All right. Do the one about the Philippines.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay. I've had a request. Emily is asking me to bring up the Waymo article. So this is more a continuation of what we should be knowing and forgetting, because this happened with Amazon, with their in-stores, their self-serve stores.
I feel like this happens every couple months.
What gets revealed is AI is actually just in a box somewhere in some country working for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Pennies.
It's not artificial. It's just real intelligence. These are Filipinos sitting in an office in a call center driving Waymo cars when they get in trouble. And it's happening more often than you would like to imagine. This is very revealing, and it's a good reminder that these AI things are not as well-founded, or the self-driving thing, which is all based on AI.
Or it's like we were saying as we were diving. Grand Theft Auto Real World.
Right. I can't imagine. We were joking. Sid and I were joking. What a great job. I mean, we drive remotely for. Well, these guys, they should at least have to be licensed in the state they're driving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
So,
I mean, like if you're over in the Philippines remotely driving a car, you should at least be able to know the laws in that state if you're having to drive the car. But then, like what you were saying, Sid, I couldn't help but if I was doing that as a remote job, just thinking Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
Right.
just blame it on the automatic driver.
Like, wasn't me. The AI did. The AI is the reason it's on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
It also is kind of interesting because this. I wonder if this is a recent solution because we had Waymo cars just recently just piling up. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that. We had like a half a dozen circling in a field, just lost in a field.
Can't get out of police control zones.
You see that? You ever see that TikTok with the Cybertrucks that were all like Cybertruck can off road and it's them in like a maintained grass plain and they're all doing like just going in circles. That's what that image just reminded me of.
I haven't seen that, but are you describing like a grassy field?
Yeah, yeah.
It's isn't that cute? The Cybertruck's out there playing 4-wheel drive.
Sorry, it's just
Yeah.
it's just you said they were all like piling up on a field and I'm like that's the immediate image in my head.
Of Cybertruck doing 4-wheel driving. Time to 4-wheel drive. It's like asking your terrier to attack. Well, there isn't a whole lot of this to this article except the reminder that it's not so artificial. These businesses, they claim artificial intelligence, but they keep having to pick it up and put it back on the rails for it to work. We've got a senator that thinks that it's unacceptable that we would have cars driving in the United States by drivers outside the United States. Why wouldn't we just make those jobs available in the United States? And I don't think he's been around very long because we would do that because it's cheaper than hiring people in the United States. Just tell him that because that's what we're driven by.
You know, driving a car for someone else is a job that exists. It's called like Uber.
Well, that's been Uber's goal from the beginning, was to replace all its drivers with self-driving cars.
Ugh.
That's what it's told its venture capitalists the entire time they've been investing in it. The entire time they've lost money until they finally started making money. The goal was we were going to replace all these stiffs with AI.
Uber taxi is also a job where you drive people places. Uber, I don't know about that. This video.
I don't know. I think what we're looking at is what a a Waymo looks, what a Waymo sees in the traffic. Like down below is the actual, is reality, and up above is what the Waymo sees.
I was about to say that's how the people in the Philippines control the cars.
Right. Well, oh yeah. Not to mention, like, there's a lot of action going on there that the Waymo I don't feel like's taking into consideration.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks busier to me in reality than it looks like in Waymo World. Waymo World looks like a sim.
How the people in the Philippines that are driving these cars, is it like a Xbox controller or what's happening here?
That's a good question. I didn't read anything about the technology they're using. I mean, we do know that there's setups like this that they like that kind of stuff exists.
It's probably something like that, actually.
Or maybe it's just push buttons, turn right, turn left. Well, anyway, just to enlighten you all to our latest.
Just to enlighten you all, don't trust anyone.
Be nervous about the Waymo.
The next time you talk to ChatGPT, just know that it might be someone in the Philippines.
Very good point. That wasn't Siri. That was, well, it sounds like Siri. That's what matters. Actually, that's how they're going to make Siri better. You know, they've got this push right now. They put together a contract, Apple did with Google, to use Gemini to power Siri.
Ugh.
Right?
Come on.
Well, actually, I mean, if you were going to pick an AI to impersonate an AI that has existed for over 10 years, Gemini would be a good choice because it's fairly well done. And you pick an AI that is so bad you can't make it worse. And so Siri's a good choice because it can't do anything right. You can barely set a timer correctly with Siri.
I guess I'm instinctually opposed to Gemini because it's everywhere on my Chromebook. And I haven't put any actual effort into trying to get it off.
You speak like somebody that doesn't have a Windows computer. Have you seen Copilot?
Yeah, but I use
They
my
tried to tattoo it on my arm.
I'm still on Windows 10.
Oh. Well, don't download it.
Got it.
Okay. Well, those are the Waymos. I am not concerned. Gemini is my go-to AI. Screw Chat GPT.
Also screw Gemini a little bit, but
I don't know. It really works well for coding.
yeah.
But
I guess that's what it's supposed to be used for.
You know what? I'll bring it up the way Richard it does. Every time I start praising how well it's helped me develop something, he'll be like, "So you ready to pay for it?" And I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not gonna pay for it." So I mean, take that with a grain of salt.
Not good enough to pay for.
It's not good enough to pay for. Not good enough to pay. It's good enough to use. Not good enough to pay for. I'll go back to old school if I had to pay for it. Actually, I'll tell you what I told Richard. So you know what I'll do? I just pick up my bags and go over to an AI that I think's inferior, and I would use it for the exact same. And it may not be as helpful, may not work quite as well, but it would do the groundwork I was looking for. It would hand me the screwdrivers that I was looking for, the assistant I was looking for, and I would continue to do that for free. That's why this economy doesn't work. Because the real developers are like, I don't want to have anything to do with this stuff. And the pseudo developers are like, well, this is all I need. I don't need more than this. Okay, but to go on to Emily's awaited topic, Discord. I don't know if any of you out there are familiar with Discord. Discord is a very popular way of communicating with gamers. It's amongst other things, but it is most popular, I would have to say, with gamers, and it's spun out of that into other
gamers, furries,
podcast
listeners, D&D players,
different social groups.
Yeah.
It is a social network that is based around chat. It's like extensions of chat. You can share stuff. You can have a feed of stuff.
It's the most popular thing on it is servers, where you can make a server that's like a group chat, but you can have several different like sections of it. And you can there's like several different chats. It's like a room, and there's a bunch of different stuff in the room, and you can go to each part of the room to do something different. But it's all chatting.
It's all chatting. So if you would think about,
there are voice calls. You can there are voice calls. There are face calls. What are they called?
That's a good enough term for me. Video calls is probably what
FaceTime.
you'd call it. Yeah, you could call it FaceTime if you wanted to give Apple's trademark a little ding, because that's what their stuff is called, FaceTime. But video call is probably the correct.
Yeah.
Generic.
Yeah.
I use it to play D&D.
Yeah, you
Friends.
guys connect, and you have video call, you have voice call, you have text chat, but one of the distinguishing characteristics when we say social media, you're very quick to think of Facebook or Twitter or X, previously known as Twitter.
No one called it X.
Yeah. Elon's baby.
No, it's more like Elon's step
Surrogate stepchild.
Yeah.
No, his baby. I mean, look at how well he takes care of the rest of his kids.
Yeah, give him full credit. That's a good idea. He loves it just like his 200 children. But those paradigms came out of microblogging. They came out of the blog kind of paradigm where you are sharing. And so it turned into a timeline of things that were shared. Discord came out of chat. So everything was extended from chat. So the whole paradigm is you're in rooms talking to other people. The rooms are what distinguish what you're talking about. But it's all real time in chat. Now, I don't use Discord regularly. Can you leave chat messages for people? Like, can you peruse the history of the chat that's been going on?
But you can peruse the history of the chat. It's all saved. You can.
I imagine it would ding you if it mentioned you in a chat and you weren't online. You'd get some kind of notification.
Yeah, if someone from your friends direct messages you, there's direct messages, and then there's messages that you leave in servers. And you can change your settings so you get pinged for everything you get in a server, or you can only get pinged for direct messages. It's called getting pinged.
Getting pinged.
And in servers, sometimes people will at you, like at your username, and that's a ping. And that'll happen in servers. Sometimes you'll get a notification for that.
That's a similar style that you use in Twitter too, or previously known as Twitter. That's a way of addressing a specific account. But all of this is just background for Fred and Chester and ourselves here at the table. Emily having the most experience. Discord
I've pulled up my D&D group.
She's looking at her D&D group right here. Here we go. That's low tech.
There are all these channels. All these channels here are a different section of the server that you can chat in, and they've been organized based on what you're supposed to chat about. I don't know.
Damn it. Thought I had all this figured out. I don't even know what I'm doing now. There, we're back.
They're organized based on what you were supposed to chat in. This is how it's usually done. Like in bigger servers, my D&D group chat only has like 5 people in it. But in bigger servers, there'd be like general, and then there's be like this is where you talk about sad stuff. This is where you put all your memes. In more specific servers, like my D&D server, we have like an info channel where we dump all the lore. There's like session recaps. There's this is the very common
Okay.
Sorry,
It's too much. It's too much. Nobody cares about all that. What we care about though is that they have announced, because of the age verification laws that are in Congress right now, they are going to require face scans to verify your ID.
Yeah. And age.
That's essentially it. And so they're going to require things like a copy of your ID to be sent to them to watch you on a camera so they can verify it's you. And otherwise, and I suspect this will be a model for a lot of these services, they're going to drop you into a teen appropriate experience, whatever that's supposed to mean. Now, how does Emily feel about this?
Well, I think it's stupid. Obviously, what I think is...
Well, say what you were telling me that
whenever a big a social media app does something like this, their intention is that people will what they say their intention is that people will give them their ID and go through all the security stuff. And what's always happened, what is going to happen, is that people are just going to stop announcing that it's questionable content. It's going to be easier to come by. It's going to be harder to avoid, because that's how it always ends up. I'm on a social media. I'm on Tumblr. That happened with Tumblr. Poppy, you said that happened with Twitter.
Yeah, well, Yeah, with Twitter, it was much more intentional. Elon's just like, go free, do whatever
Free,
you
do
want.
whatever you want.
But
It's
what
so-
you're trying to describe, you said to me earlier, was very clear, is you guys were self-governing.
Mhm.
Right? The reason things were flagged as inappropriate or not appropriate for underage is because the community was making that clear.
Yes, it's the thing is that it works very well. Like, if when you're like tagging stuff, and the community is like deciding these things, it's like it works for people who both want to see it and who don't want to see it. Because if you don't want to see it, you can just avoid the tag, and if you do want to see it, there's a place for you to go specifically to see it.
Yeah, and even like in situations like Twitter, they've got a switch. They've got like a safety switch you can turn on or off in your search
Yes.
results so that these things won't come up. I heard a ding, which normally means somebody's raised their hand. Chester's got his hand up. Go ahead, Chester.
Yeah, I assume we're talking about facial identification. And I was opposed to this until several things have happened to me. Twice I have had to discard and get a new debit card because someone tried to get into my account. And then twice I've had to establish a new bank account because phony checks were entered into my account. So I am inclined to think now that if the bank wants to use a face identification, I don't have any opposition anymore.
An agency that lacks that oversight receives billions.
Hi, Mom. Welcome. I'm going to mute your microphone. Well,
didn't hear what Chester said.
Well, okay, so Chester's point was that he was opposed to the idea of facial recognition and scanning, and now he's had at least 2 experiences of identity theft, and he's open to the idea of facial recognition as being...
Actually, 5
Yeah,
experiences.
they don't want.
How many experiences, Chester?
5.
5 experiences of I. See, Chester, I can
What
tell
kind of
you
sex
how
are
to
you
avoid
going
all
to,
this.
Chester?
What you should do is live a life with nothing to take, and then nobody's trying to be you. I always felt like if someone stole my identity, I'd feel pity for him. Like, you poor guy. I don't know how you're going to cover that mortgage.
In 2 cases, the one check was for $187,000, and in another case, the check was for $90,000. And the problem is that I had agreed with the bank to cover overdrafts. And so when there was not enough money to cover the check, they just assigned it to overdraft coverage.
Jeez. Yes, that's just, oh.
And
I no longer have overdraft.
getting the windshield fixed. Sorry.
Christine. Well, yeah, anyway. Anyway, Chester, I don't know if we would say that facial scanning and recognition to thwart identity theft is on the agenda. All of this comes from age restriction legislation that's being put into place because they want to hold social media companies accountable for young people being damaged by things they saw on the internet.
Here
Yeah, that's a hearing in Congress today.
Yeah.
are 2 things that I've seen ever since this has rolled out. This is already in application in the UK. I saw. Here are 2 things I've seen already. Someone online has complained that because they didn't they didn't do the ID facial recognition, they can't access an 18+ server that they have on their server that they made. They own it.
They can't get into their Discord server.
And they can't get into the channel that's labeled 18+ on their own server. Which is obviously an issue because they can't moderate it.
And this is because the facial system, it's not that they're trying to get around it, it's that they're trying to use it and it's failing.
No.
Oh, they are trying to get around it.
No, they're not. They don't want to use it. Obviously, it's facial recognition.
Yeah.
But
Well, I could imagine as well, one of the issues is that a place like Discord is used for being anonymous.
yes,
That there are topics that are controversial that in some countries could get you killed because of your political feelings or your sexual leanings or the gender you subscribe to. And the act of having to reveal who you are will shut down those conversations. There's just a number of people that won't go participate because they went there to be anonymous. They went there to not be judged, to not be identified. I'm imagining that's in a place like Discord. That's, you could see young people questioning their own orientation, finding a place like Discord as being a safe place to share their feelings and find support. And they're not going to reveal who they are or how old they are. They're just going to stop looking in those places for help.
and again, things are gonna be untagged and more wild now.
That's the part that really blows my mind,
Yeah.
because I really don't even think about it. I typically have my searches open, and so whatever comes out comes out. But you're absolutely right that most of the stuff that we consider inappropriate was considered inappropriate by somebody, flagged it. It got sent to a committee that I identified whether they thought it was violating one of their terms of service, and then they decide whether it stays up or down. And what you're saying is, if they're going to do this to your platform, people are going to just stop flagging things.
Yeah,
Like, we won't report it because it's going to screw things up.
gonna screw things up. It's they won't label servers 18 plus servers anymore. It's just gonna be named something like SMEX or like NSFD, not safe for Discord.
It's going to go into an algo language like we were talking about before. It's going to be all these hidden terms that identify the content without triggering the algorithms.
I'm not sure if y'all have been on an NSFW Discord channel before,
No.
but it's mostly GIFs of stuff. GIFs and sometimes people talking about their experiences, memes.
Well, this is very interesting, especially because Discord is considered to be one of those very free Wild West kind of places. That's the reason so many young people have flocked to it, is because it's out of the roaming eyes of adults.
It's I've had like maybe 2 or 3 school projects where we had a Discord server instead of going on WhatsApp or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's another thing it's used for, not as well known for it.
Well, sure.
I don't know why I thought I should mention that. I just did.
Well, no, that's great, because it would be easy to assume that this is a service just for gamers, but it's like anything else. It's like us having pickleball announcements on Facebook, or looking for the news on Twitter. It's these platforms are used for all kinds of stuff.
And there are several creators and several studios and YouTubers that will use Discord to amass their fandom, I guess.
Yeah.
For example, there's this game called The Lamb. There's a Discord server for that official Discord server made by the creators of Cult of the Lamb for people who play Cult of the Lamb. They'll announce things on it.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Very similar to if they have a Twitter account or an Instagram account.
Yeah.
Where they'll release things to it. Why did that just die?
Another thing I've seen already is someone using Gmod as their facial recognition on Discord. Put a picture of an old man up on Gmod, making him open his mouth, close his mouth, get closer to the camera, get away from the camera. This is more of a meme. But it did work from what I saw.
Well, this is just another example of age verification blowing through our internet. It's a really big deal in countries like Australia and England right now. Australia just passed a law a few months ago came into existence, started being enforced in January, that you have to be 16 or older to use social media, and they quite literally shut the doors on anybody under 16. They, as soon as they're identified, they lose their accounts.
It's so isolating to be younger than 16.
Well,
genuinely.
also,
I mean, that's, hey, you're laughing, but I mean that so genuinely. You can't go in, you can't do anything if you're under 16.
This machete chopping without consideration of what these services are getting used for. It feels like everything is much more nuanced than just 16 should be a cutoff date. It seems like when you talk about things like discussion groups, looking for friends, looking for support, doing homework, there has to be considerations for people that are under 16 for services that have stemmed out of these social networks.
Well, as an example from the past, Anchorage, there's not, if you're under 18, there's absolutely nothing for a teenager to do.
Literally.
There's no social clubs, there's no place to go, the town is spread out enough, and when efforts were made to include kids in it, it was great. Crime went down, people were happier, less problems, and then we went back to the way it was when a couple of the business, and then we were back to kids are in trouble, they have no place to go. It's the same thing on the internet.
Let's be fair, they were in a park with a keg.
That's probably what he's talking about. That's what they're getting in
Just
trouble
because I
for.
had my
They're
own
not
set of keys to
online
that
in
park.
Discord, bad mouthing their parents. They're out in the park.
Well, not
drinking-
anymore because of the
drinking
age
beer.
verification.
That's right. They got to go back out to drinking beer in the park because they're too young to go to a bar.
And Discord gives a wonderful place for local law enforcement to track down who don't want near our kids.
Oh, that's an interesting
Well,
thought.
the big case that happened, head of Israeli cybersecurity got busted in Vegas. Discord propositioning supposedly a 14-year-old boy. Turned out to be a sheriff's deputy.
And Sid reminds us why they want to do age verification.
Heck, Discord don't want to get sued.
When I was in Anchorage, I was added to a chat that God, how many people are in this chat? Like there's like almost 40 members in this chat. All of us like teenagers, same friend group, and that's how they plan their outings. It's on Discord. That's how they talk to each other. It's all on this server.
Wow.
There's so many people on the server. I joined the server, and then like 2 weeks later, my girlfriend looked and was just like, "When did you join the server? I'm on this server." There are so many people on. It was crazy.
Well, let's see. Where
Good
are we
morning.
with all this? Hello, Cheryl. Welcome. We were wondering where you were.
Well, at 9:45, I said, "Oh, it's 15 minutes to computer time. I have time to do." And then I went from that task to another one. Next thing I know, I look up, it's 10:35 and I'm not in computer club. Anyways, the kitchen looks a little bit cleaner. So this business of, I'm not sure where you started with why we're talking about 16-year-old cut off social media kind of thing. It's like anything else. We put restrictions on teenagers because they need to learn before they need some education before they can use something like social media. Before they can drink, they need to know what drinking alcohol will do to their bodies. I firmly believe that education before use or involvement in any social media, if they are well informed and discriminating, I guess, there are some things that they don't need to be banned from.
Well, and in this case, I mean, this is all just stemmed out of this article that we were discussing. Emily's very passionate about because Discord is one of her haunts. That's where she
Yeah.
goes all the time. and they're going to require people to upload IDs and do facial scans to do age verification.
The thing is, most teenagers I know will like self-regulate on that kind of stuff. If they don't want to see things that are sexual or gory or inappropriate, they'll try to stay away from it. But when you put restrictions like these on social media apps, it makes people who do want to see it stop announcing what it is and start being more secret about it, which in turn makes it easier for people who don't want to see it, like teenagers, to find it, look at it.
The argument that Emily's making is that this will actually worsen the problem.
I've seen it worsen the problem in so many social media sites at this point. My main social media site,
Well,
it's absolutely worsened the problem on there. I'll be scrolling through a tag and suddenly, boom, naked woman on my page. Completely untagged as anything inappropriate, because if it's tagged as inappropriate, then it's going to be taken down by Tumblr.
And all the tagging, all the identification was being done by the community.
The community was self-regulating it.
And so now you leave a community that's interested in that kind of stuff and not interested in that stuff, and the people that are not interested in that stuff are having to deal with it because the people that are interested have refused to tag any of it as being controversial anymore.
Because if they tag it, then they're going to be they're going to be chased out of the website, and no one wants that.
And you haven't said it, but I get the sense that even if you came across inappropriate stuff, you wouldn't bother to tag it whether you wanted to see it or not, just out of principle.
Yeah.
Just like
listen,
at this point,
it might not be my cup of tea, but it's definitely someone else's. Like, we all deserve to exist in this space. It's not their fault that they're trying to be chased out of the social media website.
Well, back when I was that age, there wasn't any computers. We went out and had our meetings.
That's right.
Yeah.
Work on cars, on your bicycles, or whatever.
It's like our story out in the park for the cake of beer.
That's right.
Yeah, but where am I gonna ride my bicycle here?
There's a lot of places to ride here.
Yeah, the beach.
Okay,
you
all
want me to
right.
go to the
This
Who
is
wants
a
to ride
different.
your bicycle on the beach.
Okay.
This is a whole different thing.
Sorry. No,
Let's
no.
When I was
acknowledge
that
that we have a lot more venues for socializing because of the internet. The internet
Yeah.
has created these pockets of
That's-
socialization.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
it also made kids that can't drive a clutch and kids that don't know how to change spark plugs
Oh,
or
all right.
anything
My
else.
man.
All right, Jim's over here. Get off my lawn, damn it!
Get off my lawn.
No,
Jim, I hate to
I had a
break it
good
to you.
time on those lawns.
Jim, I hate to break it to you, but it's the adult's responsibility to teach children how to drive a clutch and change a light bulb. And
Not
if they
when-
don't know,
Not when they won't get off the computers.
Oh no, I can get her off the computer.
you
Well,
can
yeah,
get me
it's
off the
called
computer.
slaughter.
My dad
Yeah.
can get me off the computer. Also, changing a light bulb's not that hard.
Right. Well, and
Anytime I need to change a
Driving a
spark
clutch is
plug, I
hard. I
go
don't
and
know
look
how to
on the
drive a
computer.
it's hard to say now whether we're talking about time periods that are like get off the computer anymore. I got a watch on my wrist almost 24 hours a day. I got a phone in my pocket all the time. I got headphones. I mean, like, I'm never off the computer.
Yeah, like
The tech has integrated into our lives. So, like, this is just the way we live now.
to extricate your life
Unfortunately.
from tech, I went all of my school for the last few years of school was necessary. It was necessary to be online at least a little bit for the last few years of my school. You have to be online to be able to access your assignments, to be able to like talk with your teachers. It is necessary.
Well, and actually that plays back towards the Bill of Digital Rights, where we've created a society that's so inundated with technology that you have to have protected rights towards it because you can't pay your bills, you can't do your schoolwork, you're required by the culture that we've created that you have access to those technologies. You are required to have access to internet. You're required to have access to electricity. It's part of our society, and so you should have protected rights to those things.
It's messed up, and I don't think that the only social media apps that a teenager should have access to are the social media apps, because those are also being watched by your teachers. You need to be able to have a basement to hang out in with other teenagers on your own. That's how you like form real connections and how you learn.
Yes,
Hello,
sure.
a school social page being watched by teachers is the equivalent to the teacher on supervision in the playground. Or in my case, when we were in high school, we had the pit.
Yeah.
It was a lunchroom, but you were allowed to smoke in there. But the teachers were on supervision. The teachers were watching everything we did.
Yeah.
So
The teachers.
you need
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Please.
you need somebody in authority in a school run social page to be watching what's going on.
Let me stop you, because I don't think it's a but. I think it's and also.
I was about to say that.
Okay, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think you're right. I think teachers should be able to watch on the what you're doing when you're on a school run social media app. But imagine if you had to be watched by someone all the time on every social media app. Like, you're always being watched by a teacher.
I liked your point that you need a basement to meet your friends in.
Yeah.
I think that's what Discord has been for you guys. Is it's been your friend's basement that you hang out in, and you tell stories, and you ask questions that you don't feel comfortable asking adults about, and I think that's what Emily's point was. Cheryl's point is very valid. If you're in an academic situation, there has to be that area as well, and of course it would be. But it's not either or. You're saying it's both.
Yes.
You need both. Because nobody has a basement anymore.
You can't learn just... listen, adult supervision and learning from adults is so important, but you're not going to get anywhere if you're not also learning social skills from your peers, you know?
Yeah, and that is probably diminished by regulation, by observation.
That's why these kids that grew up, like these people who went to school during COVID times, that's why they're struggling so much, because they weren't able to talk to their peers during a very important developmental age.
Or maybe better put, they weren't able to develop the skills with the technology fast enough that they were affected by how isolated they ended up feeling. I know, like, from your sister's experience, she was in tears, and then a few weeks later, it's like total internet social... You remember? There was like parties coming out of her room. Like 5 or 6 people yelling in her bedroom. I go in to go, what's going on? And it's just her there with her laptop.
I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was beautiful what she was doing.
Well, we couldn't go anywhere. So where'd she get all these people? We're stuck in the house. But if you weren't somebody like that,
but she was hanging out in the basement with her friends.
That's right.
That's what it was.
She was totally. Well, and without access to that, I think she survived that time period very well. If she hadn't had that kind of access, it would have been much harder on her psyche.
And it would have been much harder if there had been age verifications on Discord.
Yes, absolutely. To bring it full circle.
Just to bring it back around to what we were supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
You're not even getting into how bad Face ID is on a whole, like, privacy.
Or the use of age verification that's going on across our governments right now to tally and collect people's information. If anybody, I see Dad jumped on too. If there's any topics out there other than what I'm bringing up, please shout them out. I'm going to move on to another article here, because I've sucked all the knowledge out of Emily's brain.
Lucky to get me to talk for the rest of the club.
All right.
That was all I have in me.
Well, you might have an opinion on Amazon dodgy Fire Sticks. This is a callback to the thing we talked about a few weeks ago. If you remember correctly, there is a guy in England that has faced charges for distributing Fire Sticks with illicit software on them that allows people to break and infringe on copyright. He actually was going to jail for it, paying fines for it, but his customers got a letter from a cease and desist letter from Amazon explaining how they would be brought up on charges if they continued to do this. This is a follow-up on that, not so much in that area, but that Amazon now is actively banning and disabling some of these questionable apps on their platform. This is happening in England now. I just heard a beep. Are we running out of time? We got 15 minutes. Okay, plenty of time. Plenty of time for this. So these people are not getting the continue to use app button that you're seeing in Italy or France. These people are now getting disable application or uninstall. Those are the only two options they get. This article goes into detail about how this is the launcher blocking it. This isn't blocking install. You can sideload on your Fire Stick as well still. You don't have to get it out of a store, an authorized store or a third-party store. You can plug it in. You can bring it across the USB, or you can download it. Many people download apps using Downloader. That capability on these older generation devices is still possible. However, depending on what generation device you have and depending on what program you installed, you may get a block message. And that block message will say this is used for copyright infringement. Do you want to disable it or do you want to uninstall it? Use a computer, Jim says. That is the solution. Use a computer or use a different box. For the last few weeks, we've been talking, last few months, we've been talking about how Walmart has a box that is not doing this kind of stuff. It's called the On 4K Plus, which we believe to be an absolutely great replacement to your Fire Stick. When you reach a point where you need to replace your Fire Stick, I recommend checking that out. And the way this reads, I continue to believe the same with your Amazon Fire Stick. What's going to happen? This is going to happen in the States. It's coming. They're going to have this warning message pop up. It's coming. You're going to get it on your Fire Sticks if you're using questionable programs sometime in the future. And I continue to believe that because of the platform, there's going to be a way around it. But you're going to have to learn how to get around it. Every time they'll find another way to make it uncomfortable for you to use a program, you're going to have to wait for some hacker to figure out how to get around it and follow those instructions to continue to use your Fire Stick. At some point, you're going to get tired of doing all that or having somebody come over and help you do all that, and you'll just be looking for a new device. I don't know how much time you want to waste screwing around with that stuff, but as soon as it starts, I recommend going to Walmart and getting a $30 device to replace your old Fire Stick. And at $30, if you get 3 months or 6 months, a year out of it, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah, Google's going to start that too. With that free device.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point, see, it's not going to be Google, it's going to be Walmart. Amazon, yeah, it's going to be
Google's
Walmart.
coming out with blocking, starting to block.
They've done it differently. What they've done is they've said you can't be in their store unless you've bought their certificate. And so it's their process of getting their certificate that's determining whether it's illicit software or not. So they're not going to allow you to be able to sideload into without that certificate. So even if you're not in their store, if you don't have the Google certificate for their software tools, then you're not going to be able to sideload into their products as well. So it's a little different. There's going to be a way to get around that stuff too.
There's a way to get around Amazon. You can block the IP addresses for the updates.
There's a way.
Well, absolutely,
right
but that's getting back into this, like how hackery do you want to be to just keep a Fire Stick going? And the difference is Google's not trying to protect content. Amazon is posturing Amazon did not care until our administration cared about the way this stuff looks. They're just posturing. Walmart is the one you have to worry about with on. You have to worry about Walmart deciding they have to posture, and they don't, because they don't have a streaming service. They've got no dog in that hunt. They've got a streaming box that you can buy off the shelf in
And
Walmart.
everybody's buying.
Yeah, that's all Walmart's got. They're not. So I've got a feeling Walmart's box will work for us for probably the next year or so without a problem.
Oh, at least. At least. I have the original one.
Oh, okay. Well, these are highly performative. These new ones are highly performative, and it's amazing with that new CPU. They only need 2 gigs of RAM they work really well. And by contrast, I've mentioned this before. I went ahead and bought one of the Chinese knockoff streaming boxes from Temu or AliExpress. I think I got it. It's called a X96 M200. Which is the box that's recommended from like cord cutters. It's a good box. It's considered one of the best boxes. And it is as far as user experience, it's inferior to the on. The on, I think from a novice's point of view, is a much better experience out of the box. I've been able to set up my own experience on that M200. I'm very happy with it. But
TV Android 14.
Yeah, TV Android 14. I loaded my own launcher on it because the one that comes with it is garbage. Mm-hmm. I've set up my own collection of apps because what it brought with it was just garbage. They just throw whatever they want onto it to sell the box. And there's always the possibility that there's some server in China watching everything I do on my box. But the whole existence of this topic, I mean, the fact that I'm looking for a box to do these things means I probably care less that China's watching me than I do Google's watching me or Amazon's watching me, right? It's like, what do I care if China sees me using what's considered an illicit app in a Western country?
That's why I use a computer.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, make it a Linux computer, or Microsoft knows what you're doing. And with all the frustration with Windows 11, people are starting to consider Linux computers again on the desktop.
That new one is Linux compatible.
Yeah.
I want to take 11 out, put Ubuena in. Buena? Something for Kubuntu.
Well, I think the biggest frustration right now is they've proved it. It has become very, very clear. If you're on a Fire Stick, Amazon knows what you're doing. If you're in a Windows operating system, Microsoft knows what you're doing. If you're
Not necessarily.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Dude,
with their
yes.
telemetrics, yeah.
With the VPN, and it blocks the Microsoft, they can't access what you're actually doing, and I don't use Windows for...
Well, maybe a better way to, instead of generalizing my statements, unless you're actively working to block and secure your existence, these devices are phoning home with what you're doing. Is that a better statement to make?
Yeah, mine are all blocked.
Yeah.
Using split tunnel.
And I don't like to make the assumption that anybody knows how to protect themselves. They need to understand how, by default, out of the box, how these devices are acting, all the way to your TV set, is watching what you're doing and phoning home with that information.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we were able to do these things on Fire Sticks before was absolutely Amazon's position on the matter. They didn't care. They were ignoring it. Now they're posturing, they're taking a position on it. But they've always seen what we were doing.
I just love for them to.
Alexa, turn on the lights. Or whatever the Google one is.
There are Alexas all over our house.
Yeah, it drives Emily crazy.
Get me out of the house. You're listening to us all the time.
We've got microphones everywhere just so we can set timers and listen to music.
I don't even use the timers anymore.
I tried
They're so
it and hated it.
inconsistent.
What's
When
that?
I tried those when they first came out I had Alexa set up and
Yeah.
took it all out. I want to turn something on. I can use
Took it out, trotted
My-
it back.
my little app here,
Yeah, yeah.
Smart Life app.
Cheryl,
Set all
did
the
you have
timers
something to
and-
contribute? I just saw your mic came on.
Well, we have a lot of electronic things hooked up, and the names get changed on them frequently, it seems. So I never know who I'm supposed to be calling to do what. But I do know that I roll over in the morning, and before I even get out of bed, I ask Echo, her name is, what's the weather today? So I know exactly what I'm doing. And we've tried to get one for our senior relatives that are at home alone, just because they don't know how to use the computer. If they have a verbal thing that they can just ask what the weather is or what time it is or anything like that, it's just
I don't think so bad.
it's kind of a social thing for shut-ins.
In that respect, we were talking earlier about how Gemini, they have like this it's like $100 billion deal. It's something like that. $1 billion deal with Google to get Gemini to be Siri, which is funny because Google was paying them $1 billion a year to not make their own search engine. Right? So they kind of cancel each other out. It's like, we won't make a search engine and you give us your AI.
It was just Google just got in trouble for monitoring all your conversations in your house and stuff. I've got it here somewhere. I just sent it to a friend.
Well,
So it's like right now, the police can pull up any conversation you've had at your front door through your Ring camera lock system.
Yes.
yes, that is absolutely true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you live in a community where they've cut deals with Flock, then they've
And
got access to
With
Ring data.
there is no more opt out to it.
Google settles $68 million. Oh, that's chump change for Google. $68 million. They just pulled that out of.
But it's also check your device.
Yeah.
They just pulled that out of Tim Cook's couch. $68 million.
Yeah.
To settle a class action lawsuit claiming the voice assistant secretly records private conversations. This goes all the way back to 2016, affecting millions of people. Wait, does this mean I'm going to get like a $5 check in the mail at some
You
point?
might.
Yeah. Well, that was
Send
effective.
it to yourself. I can send it to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
claim
know,
now.
every time I read one of these, it's like, so that's the price of doing that business. It's
I sent it to this other friend because he used to have one sitting on his kitchen counter.
to add insult to injury with this AI talk and privacy. You are all WhatsApp users have became aware when they stuck an AI in our WhatsApp client. There's a button that's hovering there that you can't get rid of, that's in your way all the time. That's Meta AI. Meta AI.
Ask Meta AI.
Ask Meta AI.
Ask Meta AI.
Don't you dare search for your contacts because that gets sent off to Meta AI. It's probably the only information. I am convinced it's the information that's leaking out of WhatsApp is anything you inadvertently type out at the search prompt. Because it has to go out to Meta AI. It has to leave your entrenched environment, your secure enclave of conversations. It has to leave to even be looked up by Meta AI. But its very nature is going outside of your conversations, and that can happen just by searching for someone you don't see on your feed or a piece of conversation you can't find. Sure, maybe the conversation doesn't go out to the cloud, but the search query went out to the cloud. The cloud knows what you were searching for in your conversations. That's just a collection that continues to be added and built into a model. This has bothered me a long time. So
what can they do with that? So what can the cloud or anybody that accesses it through the cloud, so they know that I looked up Scott Simpson's phone number?
Ooh, we got to move
Oh,
over.
you don't?
We got to move over to our other link, and we
To
will continue this
26.
conversation there.
All right.
We're
I
about to
think
get
I'll see you there.
disconnected.
See me again.
Jim gave me a 5-minute warning, and I
Well,
disregarded it for 4.5
18th,
minutes.
I'm going up there for
No.
Come on, start. Dun, 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 dun.
after. I gotta.
Oh yeah. Got to get the new toy.
You
Yeah.
gotta get up
Well, I'm
there.
gonna bring it back down here when I'm done, so I can finish programming it, and then I can play with it down here too.
Yeah, I got a couple of new toys in the end.
We got Cheryl with us.
Sitting
In
Anybody
Alaska.
out? Oh, we're disconnected from the old meeting.
have a post
And
office
here we
box
are in the
that
new
was
meeting.
box office. Strange getting people to send stuff in.
I got a post office box in Ocala.
Nobody else came.
Oh,
This is-
except for Amazon's getting
Oh,
bad about
damn it.
sending it to. Oh, we can't send to that address.
Or Amazon. Actually, UPS is really.
Yeah, I have. I'm sorry, we can't deliver to that address. And I called them on it
He
once
keeps,
and actually talked to the head. Oh, they won't.
I accidentally
You can't
left
ship
the
that.
meeting,
I
so
said,
no one was here to
"Well,
let
that's
them
funny
in.
Because Walmart just shipped.
This
to me."
second
And I
meeting,
said,
nobody's
"The Costco
invited
that's
to, and
next
so they
door
can't let
Yeah.
themselves
your
in.
warehouse that it's shipping from just shipped me shipped it to me.
we have to ask to join the second meeting all the time.
Yeah.
This computer wouldn't ship to it. I had to ship it to.
I sent to the actual.
Hey, and Richard's come to join us.
It worked.
And I couldn't
Post office box.
get into the first meeting.
Yeah, mine.
Really,
I
I
wanted
didn't.
A lot of the time,
I didn't get any announcement to let
Yeah,
you in.
Amazon.
like
Well, I
I
kept
just had
thinking, man, Google let us down.
gravity
Big surprise.
Yeah, big surprise.
and
Well, what brought me to this
so I was
topic?
like, okay, I'll
Because
look it up
what I'd really like is
on
to
Amazon.
turn
Okay,
it
so
off.
sale,
But apparently the EU is going after Meta because
sent by-
theirs is the only AI that can run in WhatsApp.
that was
So
if it
maybe
went to
maybe this
Amazon,
is
they get battery.
this is a point at which we're going to have a little bit of control over
For
this.
some reason.
If the
Well, part of it is
EU,
Amazon doesn't sticker.
you guys need a platform?
We'd have to open a separate window.
Yeah. About a battery
Yeah.
and dog
So-
treats.
So we're going on to this other article over here talking about AI being regulated by the EU in WhatsApp. They're saying that you have to allow other AIs into WhatsApp. The user is missing out on the ability to choose from a marketplace of chatbot AIs when you only include your own AI in WhatsApp. So Meta is getting trolled the same way Microsoft was when they put Internet Explorer into Windows. This,
They want more free
You've
information
got a
about you.
audio problem, Scott.
say again,
You have a huge audio problem.
you're the first to tell me I have an audio problem. Is anybody else having a problem hearing me?
It's crosstalk.
Oh, well, it's these guys,
There's a lot of-
heads in the background talking on top of me.
I thought it was because you brought the old mic.
Yeah, it is. It's because I got the old mic, buddy.
Okay.
It's my own damn fault. I don't have the right mic set up today. See ya, Jim. So I'm thinking that if the EU forces Meta to allow for hooks for general AI chatbots so that I can choose which one I want to use, I could point it to one that doesn't exist. And then it would be off. I'm hoping, and I think if it isn't as easy as giving a null address, it might be a third party out there going, do you not want an AI in your chat? point to this one. We have released an AI that isn't an AI. It's just a blank screen.
All right, there's your next employment. Go ahead, create a non-chat whatever and sell it.
Right? It'll be I'm just very anxious to see how the EU expects Meta to implement it. And I do think it's overreaching. I mean, I'm always conflicted with this kind of stuff because I mean, who is the EU to tell Meta what they can put in WhatsApp? Right? Like it makes perfect sense to me that when I'm doing automatic photo doctoring on my iPhone, that the AI I'm using is their neural processor, and I wouldn't expect to be able to change it to anything else. It's an iPhone. Why wouldn't I be using Apple? So it's real. I find the whole thing just very interesting. But what I like about the European Union is whether they're making mistakes in this regard or not, their intention is correct. It's consumer protections. And that's what we need to see more of in the United States is consumer protections. They are trying to protect the people using this stuff, not the people that are building this stuff. So there's a good chance they might just say, nope, you can't do it. We're going to fine you money every day you don't change this. If I was the European Union, I might want them to be so strict on Meta that it might be easier just to pull it out of WhatsApp until you have a solution. And I would suggest that as a politician.
Wouldn't that be the best case scenario?
Right? It's like they come to you going, you don't understand. It's all integrated. We can't do that. It's like, well, maybe the easiest thing to do is revert back to a version that you didn't do that with, if you want to distribute it in Europe.
Credible.
Yes,
Credible.
and I would suggest that a true off switch has to be mandatory.
Absolutely.
I don't want any part of this technology. No part is part. And if I get a completely degraded experience, if search is complete garbage, whatever, that's fine.
It made no sense that they put this AI agent in there and they attached this super search, this whatever you want to call it, that just searches everything right there when you're looking for. It's inviting you to leak data out of this program that's supposed to be secure.
Well, it's more than inviting you, Scott. It's making your leaking data mandatory. The searches themselves are the data. That's it.
Well, and Cheryl was trying to make up a point before we ran out of the last meeting that how dangerous is that? And I would just say that by itself, that one data point isn't very dangerous. But you get dozens and dozens and dozens of data points. At the very least, they know everybody that you're trying to talk to. They know the topics that you're interested in. And I say they so casually.
It's a map of your mind.
But
it's a map of your mind. When were you last in a library? When did you last borrow a book from anybody to get anything? Whatever it is that you are interested in, you only access it through a browser on the internet. It's a map of your mind.
We may need to start thinking about these things in those kinds of terms because the collection of this information and the analyzing of it is so powerful now. It's so easy and powerful. We've seen it with AI. I mean, I've watched myself dump information into an AI and have it do the kind of analysis and summary of cliff notes that I would need to understand that topic that I would hope I'd be able to do for myself if I had read the content myself. But it happens like that. It just, give me the 5 bullet points of this article. Bam, bam, bam. Give me the list of everyone Cheryl talked to in July. Bam, bam, bam. It's just very easy now to dump a bunch of data into an analytical machine and pull out information from it.
I want to know the things about.
I guess my biggest thing is how can it be used for good and how can it be used for bad? So what is the fear? What am I afraid of if somebody can, or a machine can read my mind? Well, I really appreciate that sometimes it reminds me things that I did in July because I've quite often forgotten. But, you know, so I think that all of the collection, what are we worried about? What are we so concerned that it's going to be given to somebody? What are they going to do with it?
Well, one of the problems that we're facing right now are electronic price tags. You know, there are stores that have priced items. I mean, this is a roundabout way of getting at what you're concerned about. They've got prices that are digital. We have a system that can keep track of your price discrepancies, the things that you avoid and the things that you're willing to pay extra for. And so we've built a system that knows when you're in the store and can even track you to the product to the point where you may get a different price when you're looking at it. Now that's a concern.
Because you're relatively more affluent. You're not a poor person.
So you're willing to endure more of a bigger price. Where this is the lower general you, not you.
That for $1.19, we can sell you that for $1.59. You're gonna buy it for $1.59.
Well, and what if what if it knows that like in June you're willing to pay 50 cents more, so they'll continue to charge you 50 cents more for the next 30 days after June to see how much more tolerant you are. At what date does it change?
We know your health problems, up, down, and sideways. You've been Google searching on them.
Well, but okay, so to that, if I look up something because I have a concern, a health concern,
Yes,
and then all of a sudden I get all kinds of information for it, it's up to me to go through that information and find out what is appropriate and what isn't.
I know what to charge you when you're standing in the aisle of the pharmacy with your, wait a minute, with your phone on. I know it's you, and I know your health problems. You're right there in front of the products. They all go through the sky for
the
price.
brick and mortar example is one that seems extreme and ridiculous, but there's evidence it's already been going on. It's been going on for over 15 years. It's been going on with Amazon. They got caught charging people more money for the same products simply because they searched for them on an iPhone. They put the products that were more expensive at the top of the list because the customer was searching on an iPhone. And that mentality hasn't changed. It's just gotten more granular and more defined. All of these services are about what will you endure for a price. And so any opportunity to block the leakage of behavior into these databases is the better at this point, because they're all being used to take advantage of us.
It's being done in rental pricing, and there are all these horrible companies, and I'm not an expert on this, but it's being done in rental pricing in the United States.
What?
On a massive scale.
Cheryl, I'm sure you've seen this too yourself. I'm sure that you have seen a price. You've been searching around for an Airbnb or an accommodation somewhere or a plane somewhere, and you saw a price and you're like, I bet I could get a better price. And so you go to a blank browser that has never seen you before. You're not signed into Google. You're on your friend's computer maybe, and you're doing the same searches to see if you get a better price. I know that this is something that my group, we're constantly doing. It's like check it on the app, check it on a web page. It's like that plane seems too expensive to Mexico City. Go into a privacy browser on Firefox and try the price there, see if you get it. Because they're doing this stuff. They are changing what's being offered to you based on knowing who you specifically are. So again, this thing with WhatsApp, this it
That
bothers
really
me they
sounds-
put an AI
that
in
really
it.
sounds lecturing, but it is so insidious. And I go back to blueprint of your mind.
Yeah.
It is
It-
enormously valuable for people to know who you are. And I mean that in an incredibly intrusive sense. Incredibly.
Well, I think that I think that for me, they're going to find out that I'm cheap and I only buy anything when it's on sale and things like that. So there we are. I'm a little bit safe there. But you've given me thoughts that I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about them adjusting things negatively for me. I kind of thought, oh, it'll
What do
give
you
me
think?
the
They're going
best
to trust
price.
them to be, they're going to
Yeah.
be nice. They're not Canadian.
Yeah.
This goes back to Cory Doctore's
offering me
theory of
services.
shitification, and they're
Yeah.
just not trying to get their money at making you happy anymore. They're getting their money in a different way.
Cheryl, this is really messed up, but they're not Canadians. Okay, you got it.
Yeah,
you got it.
I really,
People are nice
Richard, your
people.
healthcare
I mean,
examples
you really
were
are.
horrible examples for a Canadian. Every American here knows what you're talking about when you say the price when you're standing in a pharmaceutical line. Canadians aren't getting that. It's a horrible example.
Think of a thug in a dark alley, and you'll be getting into the general zone that you need to be in. This is who is getting this blueprint of your mind, and they're buying it. And it has a very, I read not terribly long ago, but I can't give you a good number, but it was like every Google account, if you had a Google email address, that was worth $100 to Google a year. And I remember reading this number and thinking, wow, that's a lot of money. I mean, if I have a Gmail address, but yeah, because they're selling all of that data to other people. This is a profit center.
Yeah, and Google did
all
that from
about
the beginning.
And by the way, quit dismissing you're cheap or you're this or that. In a world of 9 billion people, you are so wealthy, it is unbelievable. You have the wealth of Croesus, you have the cards.
Hey, well,
you have
don't
baby.
Don't disregard the fact that they don't care how much money they have. They care how much money they can get from you. And so they'll give you a cheap price, a cheap enough that you'll afford, otherwise you won't give them money.
It's wonderful. It's just wonderful. She's a wonderful prospect. A perfect prospect.
That the frustration is that these algorithms will pull out the very most that you will pay for something. Even though you're cheap, they will have you at the top end, the high end of what you consider okay, and you'll be thankful for it. You'll be like, oh, well, that was my cutoff right there. That was right there. Look how great they are. They knew
I wouldn't have paid a penny more.
I wouldn't have paid more than that. And they're like, yeah, we know. That's why we didn't give you a cheaper price.
That's why we didn't give you the higher price.
Oh no, we've gotten disconnected. For just a half a second, we were disconnected. Anyway, I think this article about AI in WhatsApp it just creates a lot of feelings, and I hope that the EU pursues this to the point where there is an off button, where this is an opt-in off. It was not opt-in to us.
Well, and I mean, there is a relatively, to go back to something that you actually can do, you can use the DuckDuckGo search engine, not the Google search engine, and you don't have to always be logged into Google, right? Those two things. And in doing those two things, Cheryl, you would be depriving not just Google, but all of the people that they sell your data to, redistributed, you would be depriving them the data about, for example, your search queries, but also your page views, but everything else. I mean, if you're logged into Google, they're getting your page views. So this is not just your search queries. This is every single page you visit, exactly how long you were there, probably whether you scrolled, that data, how far deep, you scrolled, where you exited, where you entered, where you exited a given website. I mean, this stuff is granular.
All right. Hey, guys, this is a great conversation. I wish I could continue it. I am running out of time. We are at the end of our meeting.
They're gonna kick us out.
They're gonna kick us. I'm kicking us out because I gotta go. I gotta go on to another job. But before I leave, and I'd love to get back to this topic, but before I leave, are there any recommendations that need to be shouted out before we say we're done with this meeting? Cheryl, you have anything? Mom, Fred, you got anything you want to add to our recommendations list?
I think I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That makes it easier for me because I've got more time to pack up and get out of here.
Come on. Gotta go.
But I do think this is a topic that we are continually coming back to. And I also think that one of the frustrations right now is it's become so very clear that before we were kind of nonchalant about the way they were behaving, the ominous they out there in the world. Okay. Because they were collecting in bulk and they were making bulk decisions and they were anonymizing the data. We've had a pivot and we've had so much more power and processing ability now. They are targeting you specifically with your behaviors without knowing exactly who Cheryl is, but at any moment they could know who Cheryl is. They could just flip a switch and know exactly who all of these data points belong to, but it doesn't even matter because they know all the data points now. And I say they, and I realize it's an algorithm that knows all these data points that will just be put to use to the highest bidder. Whoever wants to use those data points for whatever, it will be sold to for whatever their use is. And that's the concern. Until next Tuesday, everybody, tech on. We'll talk again at that time from Tequila's. If you are in San Carlos, come join us next Tuesday at 10 here at Tequila's. Jonathan would be happy to serve you breakfast. We get here at about 9 o'clock and have breakfast before we do the meeting. So you're welcome to come join us. Fred, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, I was going to say, have a great week.
All right, you guys have a great week.
Especially Sandy.
Gotta get out of here.